know how serious it is at the time, etc. and so on. As soon as he gets to his feet, he says, wait, to the Secret Service trying to wrestle him off stage, raises his fist in defiance and mouths, fight, fight, fight. And that's what he spoke about next in this interview. He said a lot of people say it's the most iconic photo they've ever seen. They're right. And I didn't die. Usually you have to die to have an iconic picture. I just wanted to keep speaking, but I just got shot. You don't get more Trump than this. Of course, the lefty media took umbrage to the fact that this had been his attitude seconds after being shot. And they're saying, oh, that's not the message that we think should be sent right now. What on earth other message do you want to see from the man vying for the top spot as leader of the free world, which is currently a joke? There's not much freedom going on, is there? But commander-in-chief, that is the kind of strength and dignity and fighting spirit that you want to see in a guy who's just been shot. And I dare say at the time, again, he still didn't know what the damage was. And I dare say that was a message to everyone there and watching around the world. No matter what happens to me from this day forward, you guys have got to continue the fight. Fight these guys. He's called out deep state. He said umpteenth dozen times, I'm going after these guys, these global elites. I'm not playing their game, which is why we always say the establishment is genuinely terrified of this guy, and they've got every reason to be. So he's saying, in my absence, while I'm here, I'm fighting. But if I'm gone, you guys fight.
Friends, it's not really funny. You got to have a little bit of chuckle. We're a few days past now this very serious attempt on former President Donald Trump's life. Thank God he's okay. Thank God he is fine. But you have to admit, classic Donald Trump to say something like that in his first interview, apparently to the New York Post. And I love this station over in Australia, the Sky News. They have a lot of creative and interesting things and kind of an interesting, laughable take on a lot of the stories that they run over there. And I just wanted to share that with you. Today's video, though, I want to explain to you on a more serious level exactly how President Trump survived this ordeal, because make no mistake about it, my friends, he came very close to dying. Now, as a reminder, I was watching this live Saturday evening, sitting on my couch, playing with my dog, having a beverage, and I was watching this live as it was happening. It seemed like, as anything else, it went in slow motion. It was very scary, and in my mind, I was thinking, they got him. They finally took him out. And when I seen him stand up and pumping that fist, he did not know if he was going to live or if he was going to die. And I think most people don't understand that. As far as he knew, he had half of his head blown off, and somehow he was still somewhat conscious. And he wanted all of us to know, keep fighting no matter what. If this is the last images of me on the face of this earth, I want each and every one of you to know, stay in the fight. And that's just the kind of man he is. Absolutely outstanding. That in that type of situation, me and you, we'd be looking for the exits really quick. It'd be like, get me out of here. This man said, I want to my feet. I want you to stop. I want to talk to the crowd. Where's my shoes? I got to look good. I got to show everybody it's going to be okay in life no matter what. Amen. This is what people like, among many things, about former President Donald Trump. He is encouraging each and every one of us, letting us know it's going to be okay. And the man just exudes. He just gives off such a high level of confidence. He is the definition of confidence, and you have to love that about that man, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever. That's one of the many things we love about former President Donald Trump. So, want to take a second. I am J.R. Dukes. I appreciate you joining me today. I'm your host for today's program. If you are a regular viewer, I want to welcome all of my free-minded friends. We're going to dive right into today's topic. Let's take a quick flashback as to exactly what happened this past Saturday during this attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, and then we're going to dissect it. I got some diagrams to show you what happened and what could have happened had it not been for illegal immigration. I'm kind of using that, admittedly, as a little bit of a clickbaitish type things, but it's true. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean by that in just a moment. And of course, today I'm coming live all the way from Minnesota, Wisconsin. Donald Trump's about to take the stage behind me and give his acceptance speech. No, I'm wrong. I'm just kidding around with you. Just a dad joke. Sorry, kids, if you're watching this video. Now, back to the serious situation. Let's take a quick look and see exactly what happened at the rally pertaining to President Donald Trump's assassination attempt. How does illegal immigration fit in this? Well, look at his face right now. He is looking to his right, and he just happened to be looking over, referring to a diagram that he had on the far right-hand side and one on the left-hand side. He chose to look at the one on his right-hand side. Thank God that he did, because of what is about to happen. He was pointing out that illegal immigration has drastically spiked under President Biden. So that's what he was looking over to, and that's what he was discussing with this crowd of supporters. And let's let this play out and take a look at it together.
Thing that said, take a look at what happened.
So let's go ahead and talk about exactly that short few seconds that you just seen, the initial attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. Let's look at the next diagram. So in this first slide, we have an aerial view effectively of Butler, Pennsylvania. This is the forum in which former President Donald Trump was giving his normal, usual, customary campaign rally speech. If you've never been to a Donald Trump rally, you need to go. They are a lot of fun, a lot of energy. You can feel the crowd. You can feel the excitement. But this is essentially the layup. You can see on your left-hand side where the shooter was located, and in the center, you can see the stage right there where it says Trump Stage. That's exactly where he was at, and the shooter had a very clear line of sight. Unbelievable, but we'll talk about that in another video. On this slide, you can see the actual bullet as it was fired towards President Donald Trump's head. Luckily, he was looking to his right-hand side at the diagram pertaining to illegal immigration. He just happened to nudge his head ever so slightly forward, just kind of a little bit of a nudge. And that little bit, we're talking millimeters here, folks, like a quarter of an inch, essentially, is what saved his life. He only ended up with some severe damage to the upper part of his right ear. And as you can see in this particular diagram, it is the president's head angle as he is looking at this illegal immigration diagram that essentially effectively saved his life. Another way to look at it is the hand of God saved President Donald Trump. So he's looking over to the right, and you can see this path as illustrated on this diagram coming right to his head. He's looking over to his right, and it just barely scrapes alongside the head and effectively damages his ear real bad. This is a close-up with the skull removed, so you can see just how close this bullet came to President Trump's brain. If he was looking directly forward at the crowd, we're just speculating that if his head was not turned to that diagram showing illegal immigration, and he was looking like he normally does out to the crowd, it would have been a fatal kill shot. In this diagram, I got the president looking straight out. His head angle is, if it's not straight, it's pretty close to it. It's not exactly 90 degrees, but this is generally the way he positions his head when he gives a speech. And you can see that the bullet would have went right through the back of his head. This next diagram here shows the top diagram is the grazing effectively of the bullet. And then the bottom part right here shows what we just looked at in the alternative situation. Had former President Donald Trump been looking relatively straightforward like he normally does to the crowd of spectators, of supporters that he was talking to at this particular time. Just to illustrate what could have happened, here is basically a rendering, an artist rendering of exactly what that injury you just seen would have looked like. It would have entered the back of the president's right ear and exited through the back of his head, through the middle part of the back of his skull. This, in all likelihood, would have been absolutely fatal. Boom, that's the end of it. You would have had effectively another JFK assassination caught forever on video, to live forever, of a man with his head exploding on camera. What a terrible, terrible situation this would have been. There could have been violence all over the country, if not the world, after this. This was a very serious, tragic situation, and thank God he is all right. I don't know what you think But I am telling you, I have been praying every day, thanking God for putting his hand on former President Donald Trump and effectively saving him. As I was watching this last Saturday, I was thinking to myself, they got him. I can't believe it. After all of the embarrassment and harassment they put him through, they tried to take all of his money. They tried to harass his children. They tried to put him through bankruptcy. They tried to tie up all of his cash. They tried to actually imprison him. They took his name off the ballots in 2 states, and there was more to follow. And yet, former President Trump was able to overcome all of these obstacles. And yet I thought to myself, he was going to be taken out finally by the deep state. Boom. It's over with. They got him. And by the grace of God, his Holy Spirit was with this man on this day. The odds of somebody being in that situation, surviving an actual gunshot to their head and not have any serious effects from that is really, really an understated miracle in and of itself. This shooter shot from approximately 150 meters. Most of us probably don't know much about sharpshooting, but I can assure you that is considered a very easy shot. What were the chances that President Donald Trump had his head turned, looking at a chart of illegal immigration, among other things? And he just happened to be jostling his head back and forth just enough that when that bullet came by, it effectively took out his ear, but did not touch his skull, did not puncture the skull. Thank God it didn't go through his skull. What an amazing story. And then this man to have the presence of mind, not knowing if there was other people there trying to kill him. He didn't know if something was going to explode. He didn't know what his own injuries were, yet he took time to reassure each and every one of us with his traditional salute to fight, and never give up, that he was going to be fine. And even if he wasn't, we were all going to be fine as a people. And of course, to never give up the good fight. Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. My friends, if you're still with me, you might as well go ahead, take a minute, hit that thumbs up button. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Send this video to one of your indoctrinated family members and or friends, because we have to stop this indoctrination, and we have to all get out there and make sure we vote at this very important upcoming election coming up this November. Always appreciate taking time to join me. Never take it for granted. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to hear what I have to say. I always like to say, my friends, keep that mind free, never give up. And until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.